does for me, yeah. And you know the thing she does for me.
Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Small Screens podcast. I'm Russell Hawley.
I'm Lucas Eves.
And I'm Sam Catalfamo.
All right, and this is our first episode of 2014. We are taking a look within. We watched 2 films about being miniaturized and exploring the true final frontier, the human body. We watched the 1966 science fiction film Fantastic Voyage and the 1987 sci-fi comedy adventure Innerspace. So, Happy New Year, boys. How were your holidays?
Happy New Year, everyone.
Thanks, Luke. Sam, you bought a limo over the holidays?
I did. It's a 1995 Lincoln. It's a real luxury car. So we're going to be going on the road next Friday, so really excited.
Cool, to film your new movie.
To film
correct?
the new movie Minor, yeah. So I mean, I'm just ecstatic. I can barely even sit down in this seat right now. I just feel like jumping up and dancing around the room.
Wonderful. You done any looking within yourself? Any New Year's resolutions, Luke?
Gotta hit the gym.
Jim, yeah.
I think that's the big one. You hear that a lot on the radio.
I got my flu shot today.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm immune to the influenza.
Mm-hmm.
So I recommend everybody stop what you're doing, go out, get your flu shot, because you could die.
Wise words. And where'd you get yours done?
I got mine at Shoppers Drug Mart, and my only complaint of the whole experience was that the pharmacist who administered it, he was just a little bit too nice.
Like
Kinda
fake? Nice?
Yeah, he gave me his business card, and why do I need his business card? It's just a flu shot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he did stab you.
And the customer service, though otherwise?
The customer service was awesome.
Up to Shoppers Drug Mart standards.
Yeah, but you have to wait in the Shoppers Drug Mart 15 minutes after the flu shot in case you get an adverse reaction to it.
And you can tell within the first 15 minutes.
Oh, you bet your bottom dollar you would.
And do they give you some sort of parting gift or treat when you're done?
There were lollipops on the table, but they weren't offered to me.
You have to take the lollipops while you still can. That's what I learned.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I when I found with this, what I really liked about these 2 films was it kind of brought me back to the childhood with the whole miniaturization. Like I lived in a more of a miniature world as a child, where I had micro machines, dinky cars, various toys, and I would always kind of I also thought that was kind of fun for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exploring things on a different scale makes them fun. Like the big world in Mario 3 was often just a good time.
Yeah, Big World. That's like the best one.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, do you guys want to take a quick break? And when we come back, we'll talk about Fantastic Voyage.
Yeah, Fantastic Voyage. It's a number.
Put something in the tank and I know that I can bring it. If you can't take the heat, get your ass out the kitchen. We on a mission. So I can live my life and maybe eat some steak with my beans and rice up. Place where my kids can play outside without living in fear of a drive-by. And even if I get away from the drive-by.
You are listening to the sound of a completely new screen experience. A startling new kind of excitement. As 20th Century Fox plunges you into the most incredible adventure that man could ever achieve. To make a motion picture that crosses a new frontier may seem impossible today. Outer space, the depths of the sea, the bowels of the earth, the past, the future, all have been subjects for the camera. But now, a film called Fantastic Voyage has broken through in an unexpected direction to create an adventure of astonishing suspense and beauty.
One of the miracles of the universe.
Its vital news story sweeps down from the sky. Then it drops the bottom out of the world you know and understand. As a beleaguered nation desperate for survival launches a journey you can never erase from your memory.
We need you for security purposes, Mr. Grant. They know they failed to kill Banish. Security thinks they'll try again, first chance they get.
A woman has no place on a mission
I
of this kind.
insist on taking my technician.
You'll take along who I assign.
Don't tell me who I'm going to work with.
4 men and a beautiful girl, off on a fantastic voyage, actually entering inside the human body, exploring an unknown universe, unknown dangers.
Okay, that was a clip from the trailer for Fantastic Voyage. This is a sci-fi spectacle, really, from '66. So did you guys enjoy going on this fantastic voyage?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I thought the best part of the film, it was a good film, was the special effects. They were fucking amazing
Yeah.
for 1966. Like, really, really, really good.
Yeah, it won Academy Award for special effects and art direction.
Mm. Yeah, very reminiscent of 2001: A Space Odyssey. So it was. I would highly recommend to see this film.
Yeah, we were saying before we turned the mics on how cool the intro was. Like, not only the credit sequence, but I like how it went a long time without any dialogue, and you're like this mystery of this guy and the CIA and everything going on, and the kind of the world slowly revealed to you, and even like some of the more fantastical futuristic elements are slowly shown, and to this you're introduced into this world. Pretty cool way to bring you in.
Yeah, it really took its time with the intro to kind of just unveil like the whole procedure with the whole miniaturization was quite something.
Yeah, it's almost, that would be maybe one critique I'd have, is it's very like procedural. Like there's long scenes of like step 1.
Oh,
Get into the chamber.
Yeah.
Step 2.
yeah, but the thing is, there's always like some guy repeating it because it's like they're
Step
they're
2.
wheeling, it's like begin Operation Alpha.
Yeah. Begin Operation Alpha. And they're wheeling at the Alpha machine or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what 90% of this movie is, really, just
People shouting slogans at you.
with great effects.
Yeah.
So what do you think of kind of the way they showed this was the future? Like, think of like the compound they're in, this underground compound.
It looks like a big parking garage, and everyone's driving around like 3-wheeler
Yeah,
Vespas.
it seems like that was like, oh, what do they do in the future? Everyone will be driving even in the hallways of buildings.
Everyone's on rascals.
Yeah. It's also like a real, of the time fascination with atomic technology.
Oh yeah. I love the part where it's like he's putting in the atomic core, like whatever, but it's like a piece of uranium that's gonna like get large as they get small, and then it'll fit in the reactor inside the submarine.
It's like, seems like in the 1960s, like they thought atomic energy and technology would allow them to do everything and anything in it.
Yeah, and they're like, "Don't worry, it's perfectly safe." No, it's not.
It's interesting, yeah, because the 60s, it's like they were more, like, in the 60s it was more sci-fi oriented than even today. Like, sci-fi is still a huge genre, but it seems like everyday life they were always thinking about, like, the future.
How technology could improve it or help them, or yeah.
All we have now is like Snapchat and other things which aren't as interesting.
Even this movie starts off with this card saying something along the lines of like, we're not capable of space travel yet, but we know it's just around the corner, and events that you'll see in this movie we're sure will be capable of in the next few years or something.
They're serious.
But like, not only is it like the miniaturization like seems fantastical, but at this point they hadn't gone to the moon yet, but they were so like sure, oh, we're definitely going to be there
Yeah, that
any
must have
day
been,
now.
like, after Kennedy
Like an-
said they were going to the moon before they actually did it or didn't
Yeah,
do it. Or
that's kind of
whatever it
crazy.
is.
Like to believe it's like, oh yeah, I'm sure in a few years because we want to do it, we'll be on the moon. Like we don't have that proactive attitude anymore.
Do you guys think that we've landed on the moon?
Yes,
Uh,
for sure. You thought it was filmed by like Stanley Kubrick or something?
I kind of do. I don't know what to believe anymore.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, went to the moon, but yeah, we're not going anymore apparently.
Yeah, shut it
But
down.
it just seems like civilization's kind of declined since the 1960s.
Yep.
I think it's become more of a dystopia since 1960 onwards. Like everything was so idealized in time, like during the Victorian age, like after the Middle Ages, basically, and then 1920s and mid-century, and then after the 60s, everyone's just like, well, we live in a fucking
Right.
shitty world.
Everyone gave up.
Yeah, everyone's just given up.
What they didn't give up on in this movie is awesome art direction, as we said. And some scenes are really beautiful, like the ship, just long scenes of it going through the nervous system, the bloodstream.
Just the amoebas and stuff like that, or like the blood cells. I guess they were shot by like water pockets, or it looks like a lava lamp or something, but it worked really well.
Sometimes, yeah, borderline, like, seems like a 60s psychedelic band's backdrop just in the windows of the ship, or like abandoned glow-in-the-dark mini putt or something.
Apparently, the film took 2 years to make. In the
Yeah.
trailer, it's like 2 years in the making, which isn't a very long time now, as we know. But back then,
Pretty considerable.
This kind of is like a psychedelic movie, though. It's like
No, I was
Very
thinking that like when I was watching it, we were talking about the very procedural element of it, like, and how like there's not a lot of great dialogue. It would be a good just background visual to like some music or something, just to
Yeah.
have on
'cause
more than anything.
yeah, the story is like really you can take it or leave it.
Bit of an abrupt ending, I would say.
Oh, the ending. Did you guys read about the ending?
No.
no.
Oh, fuck. The ending is so fucking fucked. Okay, because, yeah, it just ends, right?
They get big again, and then that's the movie.
Yeah, okay, so,
So they laser the clot in this guy's brain
right.
after.
After Buddy, like, the evil, there's, like, a double cross. One of the doctors turns out to be, like, a Russian spy. He tries to crash into the clot to, like, burst it or whatever,
They
right?
laser beam up the ship.
Yeah, and then hero guy slices the ship in half with a laser beam, and he crashes into like some brain matter, right?
Yeah.
Now, originally it was written that because of the brain damage that the guy induced from that crash,
Mm-hmm.
that he forgot all the secrets of how to keep the miniaturization process going for more than an hour or whatever, right?
Oh,
'Cause
no.
they're only-
So it was
they're
a
only
failed
miniature for an
mission.
hour. So it failed the mission entirely, right? But the guy survives, right? Because they remove the clot, and then the evil scientist gets eaten by a macrophage or whatever.
Right.
And the submarine just like crashed and just becomes part of this guy's brain. Now, Isaac Asimov wrote the book of this.
Right. I read a bit about that novelization of the script, but he wanted to make changes.
Yeah, he made changes, and one of the changes he made was because that ending, after that happens, after the bad doctor dies,
Mhm.
they escape. They swim away through the optical nerve and
The
get
tear ducts.
into the tear ducts, and then they take him out on a petri dish or whatever, and,
Yeah.
and blow them up again. But that doesn't. What about the submarine and
Right.
the dead doctor?
That's my
inside of the
question,
thing?
because it's if the miniaturization can only last for an hour,
Yeah.
it should expand right then and like blow his head up.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it's like one of the loop, like it's like they really painted themselves into a corner at the end of that movie, because it's like, oh, you have like this dead doctor in this
Yeah.
submarine, like in this guy's brain, and those things are rapidly expanding. Like it would tear his head open, right?
Yeah. Not only that, like even just because it's illogical, but just you'd expect in any other movie, like after they succeed their mission, they get out from the tear ducts. You think there'd at least be like a shot or two of them celebrating. You don't even see them full size. You don't see the guy they saved with the brain clot come back to and reveal the
Yeah,
information.
it doesn't explain any of that. It's just like they survived the mission. The end. Roll credits. Right?
Yeah.
Now, one of Asimov's tricks out of this was they lure the macrophage to follow them out into the tear duct, and then that gets blown up too. I think that's how.
Oh, and it's got the ship.
And it's got the
attached to
ship
it.
and the dead dude in it. But there's the question of the laser gun that the guy drops after he shoots the thing. They never mention what happens to that laser gun because you wouldn't even be able to find that because there's no uranium tracer on it or anything, right? So that's no matter any way you cut it, that thing is blowing up inside of that guy's head, like in like an hour after it's been in there.
Well, it kept saying, like, I guess the way I thought they tried to explain it maybe was after an hour they got only a little bit bigger and just big enough for the nervous system to notice them and then attack and destroy them. But it's not like after an hour they all of a sudden go back to full size.
But here's the other thing. You know how they have the first stage of shrinking and then they do the big routine
That was
and put
weird,
the ship
yeah.
into
like
the giant syringe with
then they shrink the syringe with it in it even smaller. That was
exactly. So, but there's like all that saline fluid in the syringe that would expand too. So anyway, you cut it just like that amount of.
Yeah, why didn't they just shrink them down and put them in a normal size?
That's the funniest part. So the saline fluid would just like explode his. Any way you cut it, the guy who they go and trying to save is like. He's gonna die at the end.
Definitely dead.
That's what's so funny about this movie.
Right. I'm sure with a lot of sci-fi movies, if you really think about them, they can be. You can spend all day thinking about it, but when it comes to film, what matters is how much you enjoyed it. And here on Small Screens, we like to rate our enjoyment out of 5 stars. So, Sam,
I'd give my enjoyment a rating of 4 stars.
4 to 5 stars.
Yes. Okay, maybe I would give it a 3.85 stars. That's my final rating. 3.85 stars.
Cool. Any closing comments?
Beautifully shot film. I'm a big fan of adventure genres, so I thought it was a really cool adventure genre. I really liked how clean it was, and I think it was definitely one of the better science fiction movies. And what was so great about the science fiction was that it was like within our own body. So it was like the universe that they were exploring was within. And I think there's a lot of wonder and just wonder and awe and just like a universe inside a little tiny molecule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say about 3.5. I really feel like the Avatar of their time. Like it's just really showing off the technology and the spectacle of what they could do in filmmaking. And since that's not currently up to date, you don't really appreciate it as much as if you watched it back then. But it's still a lot of fun and still impressive visually.
Yeah, I'd give it a 3.5 as well. Pretty visually striking. It's got good storyline.
Mm-hmm.
It's fairly anatomically correct, which I appreciated. The terminology is all there. The acting's really dry, but it's entertaining.
Gives it that sense of like seriousness or something.
Yeah. It's a bit campy, but it's cool. Like it's like a cool movie.
Still holds up.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
Cool. Let's take a quick break then, and we'll talk about Innerspace when we come back.
Test pilot Tuck Pendleton wants to make history. Supermarket clerk Jack Putter needs a vacation.
Jack, you're late. That's not good. You know it's coupon day.
Lieutenant Pendleton is about to be miniaturized, placed into this needle, and then injected into this rabbit.
Rock and roll.
But something went wrong. And Tuck's about to get a new destination. Inside Jack Putter.
I'm in a man.
Hello, can you hear me?
I'm possessed!
Now, Jack's got twice the problems.
How you doing, Jack?
But he's double the man. With Tuck on his side.
Kicking more accounts.
In his gut. And on his case.
You're not gonna bag groceries all your life, are you, Jack?
And only 24 hours left for Jack to get out of danger. So that Tuck can get out of Jack. Dennis Quaid, Martin Short. Give yourself a shot of adventure. Innerspace.
All right, that was a clip from Joe Dante's '87 film Innerspace. It's about a rambunctious Navy test pilot played by Dennis Quaid who undergoes a top-secret miniaturization experiment and is accidentally injected into the body of a hypochondriac clerk played by Martin Short. Short must rise above his mundane existence to help an American hero get back to safety while also trying to reunite him with his beautiful, estranged girlfriend, Lydia, played by Meg Ryan. So what'd you guys think of Innerspace when you watched it this week?
It was a lot better than I remembered it being.
This is one you watched... I'd never seen this before, but I feel like a lot of people I got the vibe like it's one they watched a lot when they were kids.
Yeah.
That was your story?
I think it was on like Saturday night at the movies or like one of those Fox 29 Sunday afternoon movies.
Right, like on TV, syndication, repeat. Yeah, I never came into my world, so that's why I was always curious to check it out.
Yeah, first time I heard about it as well, but it's by Joe Dante, I guess the guy who did Gremlins, and best known for Gremlins, I believe. And
Gremlins, yeah, he worked a lot with Roger Corman.
That's right.
Early on, and Spielberg produced this one.
Yeah, so it had I think it borrowed some Goonies soundtrack. It probably was the same composer, but I swear to God that they took some of the exact same score,
really? Yeah.
But I could be mistaken.
Yeah, big orchestral kind of adventure.
But it was fun. It was like what mostly it reminded me of was body swapping movies.
Like a Freaky Friday.
Like a Freaky Friday where you have like two like polar opposites.
Yeah.
And how they kind of like work together and whatever like that. So
yeah, you've got the uptight Martin Short with the loose cannon alcoholic Dennis Quaid inside of him, trying to party hard all the time, and he's living his quaint life. Yeah.
Sounds like a gay porn
inside of him.
But yeah, and it's like the alcoholism wasn't really, you know how like being an alcoholic is kind of like
poo-pooed.
It's poo-pooed. But in this film, it was more like funny and kind of like, oh, you know, it's just Dennis Quaid.
It was
kind of thing.
Very blatant. Opening scene, he's drunk, stumbling, embarrassing himself. When he's first gets into Martin Short's body, his first order of business is getting into the closest bit of booze in his apartment, which is hard to find because there's a lot of empties. And he's got an ingenious technique for getting the booze from Martin Short's mouth into his miniaturized capsule. Did you guys pick up on that?
Yeah. He like stuck out the little arm with the flask and
caught some of the booze falling down his throat.
I think it was rum, I believe.
I like that scene. It actually reminded me of going to get oxygen from the lungs in Fantastic Voyage.
Well, alcohol is Dennis Quaid's
oxygen
in this movie.
I didn't pick up on that, but yeah, you're very right. It's very similar.
But this is like really over the top. Let's give a sense of the vibe of this movie for people. Like it's really fast paced comedy, action. Like there's not a dull moment here. There's car chases. There's multiple bad guys.
Yeah, I thought the stunts were amazing. Actually, I was
Yeah.
like, how do they do that? Because it wasn't a super high. Like this movie kind of teeter-tottered on like a low budget kind of campy film.
Right, it's like a B movie with a lot of money kind of feel. Yeah.
Yeah, and but honestly, they spared no expense when it came to the stunts. The car chases were
The chase scene
awesome.
with the refrigerator truck, where the like motorcycle goes between the two cars. like
Yeah.
that, badass.
Yeah, that is probably one of the coolest stunts that I've ever seen. It was like really Jackie Chan style.
Yeah, good comparison. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one also won an Academy Award for special effects.
Which you wouldn't guess when watching the film.
You weren't impressed?
I didn't know. I didn't think the special effects were that great at all.
Not the inner body stuff, but I like some of the transformation kind of effects.
Yeah. Wow.
There's
I forgot about that, but when he's changing his face, because
Somehow Dennis Quaid inside of him can alter his nerves so
body.
his face looks different.
Yeah, so he can look like the cowboy, right?
Right.
And then they get some deal. That's how he gets the other.
Yeah, that was a kind of a weird thing because you thought like it was already kind of bizarre that this was happening, and then they just threw in this like, oh, but he can also change the nerves and alter his face, and it was only pulled out once in the film as like a distraction to get information from the villains, and then Martin Short, because he's really tense or nervous wreck, he becomes so nervous that his face goes back and blows the cover.
Well, because they're threatening to cut his hand off with a blowtorch because his fake gold tooth has popped out.
Well, the sci-fi in this movie really like only serves one purpose, and it's like to get them into comedic situations. So I kind of like that about it. Like any sort of legitimacy is thrown away, but it's like you can come up with anything here in this fantastic scenario to get into funny situations.
Yeah,
that's just one of them.
It's like that was like an aspect of the movie, but it wasn't the main aspect of the movie. It was
just a way of getting
Dennis Quaid to be the voice inside of what's his name?
Martin Short.
Martin Short's head. Yeah.
And what did you think about the subplot? It was kind of a bit of a love story.
Bit of a love triangle, bizarre love triangle, as New Order would say.
Yeah, very much so.
So Dennis Quaid's ex-girlfriend, Meg Ryan, who he still holds a flame for, is speaking through Martin Short to her, and they're falling back in love, but she's also falling in love with Martin Short. It's complicated.
And she doesn't know that Dennis Quaid is in Martin Short.
Right.
Until later on.
It's really weird.
And then later, I don't want to give it away, but I will. The pod. So Martin Short finally gets to kiss Meg Ryan in this dungeon when they get caught, and through being in this dungeon, they start to make out, and then Dennis Quaid's pod goes inside of Meg Ryan's mouth, and he discovers.
And then he travels to her uterus
very quickly.
Like that's what
right.
blows my mind. He just magically ends up in her uterus at some point. So that makes me think like maybe they weren't just kissing. Maybe there was something else going on.
Yeah, and then then he discovers that she's pregnant, and he assumes that it's his.
Oh, I cracked up in that scene. I wasn't seeing like I came out of nowhere. Next thing you know, his ship's coming out to a giant fetus.
Yeah.
And he's so excited. He's finding out. What a way to find out you're a father.
Exactly.
Through a miniature pod and seeing
meet your son.
Meet your son who's towering above you in your miniature submarine.
Pretty beautiful.
Pretty awesome.
Like what father ever gets that experience?
And then to get back in Martin Short, like, oh, let's kiss.
Yeah.
And then as soon right after they kiss, then the pod is back in Martin Short.
Got it.
But
makes sense now.
Meg Ryan, I think this is probably earlier on in her career. This is before You Got Mail. This is 1985, I believe.
87.
Oh, 87, the year that most of us were born.
Are we gonna do like a Meg Ryan? Are we gonna
This
do
is our new
Meg
show.
Ryan for sure? Like the other shitty actress that wouldn't go away.
Harry Met Sally next.
Meg Ryan's not a shitty actress.
Oh God, yes she is.
I don't know. I've kind of got problems with her.
Oh,
You think
what are
she-
your problems?
She always seems a little uptight.
Yeah. There's a lot of movies I don't like Meg Ryan in. There's a lot that but she's in a lot of good movies too.
That's true. No, it's a good
It's
movie.
like a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
She's pretty hot, so it's okay. Meg Ryan's all good.
A lot of weird characters popping up in this movie, like just out of nowhere.
Yeah,
The
like-
cowboy you mentioned, I didn't know exactly what his deal was. Just this cowboy that Meg Ryan was writing an article about.
No, yeah, she's like stalking him.
What was his ethnicity? Was he Russian?
I don't know.
Could have been native.
I think
No.
he's like a drug runner or something for the bad guy that they're after.
Right.
Something like that, right?
He's a very eccentric character. Always wears full
Yeah,
cowboy
and
garb and he's very picking up the ladies all the time. He also got a evil genius who only wears white hair, white dog, white office. I forget what his name was.
Oh yeah, it's like Boris and Natasha or whatever from
Yeah.
Rocky and Bullwinkle. Those two, right?
And then we have their main henchman, the Terminator type
Oh,
guy. Was awesome.
That guy is cool.
Is these like big black aviators, black hair, this tough face,
Like
and
the vanity plates on the like whatever that was. I think
Yeah.
it was a BMW. It was like an M5 or something with vanity plates.
every character had in this movie had vanity plates. I wish I had written down which each of them was.
Yeah, they're
Sorry,
pretty good.
what are vanity plates?
Oh, like bumper stumpers, like
When the license plate says something.
plates.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember what his was for the life of me, but
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
But more than one character did.
I liked the scene where he's like shoots the scientist because he kills that guy in the mall, right?
Yeah.
And checks Martin Short with a drug, but that's after this guy's like just pointed at him with his like prosthetic hand and shoots one shot, and the kid sees it and he's like blows it out, but at the same time it's like he's
Whispering.
Shh.
Yeah.
And I like the opening scene when the evil scientists first like invade and try to steal, and they subdue everybody with miniature fire extinguishers.
Yeah,
on
the
their
fire
necks.
extinguisher knockouts were
I think that was a way to like what would otherwise be a horribly violent scene to like
like
get into a
shotguns and
PG
shit.
movie. Like
Right.
they're wearing gas masks and gassing everyone instead of like busting in guns blazing.
And
Right?
then they pulled out guns later.
But it also makes it so that at the end, it's like all the scientists just wake up and they're like, all right, let's continue the experiment, everyone. Just
Yeah.
Get them back. Happy
No.
ending.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this movie. I feel like I need to watch it again to grasp everything. But I had fun with it.
Yep.
Yeah, it was fun.
And we got like a lot of SCTV alumni popping up,
Oh, yeah.
other than Martin Short.
Wait, who else was in this?
There was a scene where Martin Short goes to the doctor, and he's in the waiting room.
That's right.
A bunch of SCTV guys.
And you don't really get to see much of Martin Short, which I thought was interesting. Like, where do you ever see Martin Short?
Well, some great movies. In this movie, actually, this was where he's played the most straight. Usually he's the wacky one, but in this one he's like
Right.
the nervous one.
Yeah, and
Uptight one.
he like gets like his courage up and he just becomes like this kind of superhero character at the end.
Yeah, it's a cool ending. Like I like endings like that where it's like the adventure continues. Like there's a wedding, obviously, with Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan.
Yeah, they get married, but Meg Ryan like kisses him afterwards, and she's like looking at him like.
And
oh.
then Dennis Quaid kisses Martin Short.
Yeah, and then it's like what?
It's like a weird
They were
relationship.
really liberal back then in the 80s.
Yeah, but Martin Short just quits his job and realizes like the only thing that's keeping him happy is this continuing to live in this world of high adventure, right?
Yeah, he like quits his job and like his girlfriend from the checkout line or whatever. He's like, nah,
Not a
like,
chance.
Not a chance, baby. Screw you.
And rides off in the sunset out to save
In
Dennis
his-
Quaid
in
all
his
over
sweet
again.
Mustang,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
to
a cool
save
ending.
From the little.
I did like the ending. Yeah.
Shrunken. Like it's like there's room for a sequel there. You could
Yeah,
totally
there's like half miniaturized villains in their honeymoon trunk.
and the assassin guy's still around. Oh, dude, we forgot to mention like how they inject that assassin and he gets melted inside of this.
That was cool. The Terminator guy
Yeah.
gets miniaturized, is drilling into the pod, and uses this guy's stomach acid to burn him alive.
Yeah, but then it's like Martin Short's like a cannibal now. He's like eating an entire
Yeah.
human being.
I never thought about that. Yeah, he's got a skeleton. He does a little burp after.
Oh,
Burp.
that would be intense. That would trip me out if I was a hypochondriac and I like ate someone.
Yeah, sort of diseases as you have.
Yeah. So, what would you guys rate the film?
I don't know. What do you think?
I think 4 out of 5. I like how over the top it was. Didn't take itself seriously. How it was sort of playing off these earlier sci-fi movies, but just making it fun and campy, and I had a good time with it. 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it was actually quite enjoyable. I'd say probably the same. 4 out of 5. Like, it's well shot, good action, funny, like serious but goofy, like super goofy and ridiculous.
Good action scenes.
Good actions, good special effects, good stunts. Yeah, 4. Yeah.
Give it a 3 out of 5. I think it's just because of personal preference. Didn't find it as interesting as Innerspace for whatever, or as Fantastic Voyage for whatever reason, but still a good film. Show it to your kids.
Yeah,
And there should be a sequel.
Yeah, continuing adventures.
Fuck, we can make a sequel. Should write it, submit it.
Apparently there was a animated series for Fantastic Voyage, like a Saturday morning.
Yeah, I want to read the book and watch the cartoon now.
That was one thing with the 80s is they'd like to have fun. Like in movies now, there's like all those kind of genres have kind of disappeared. Like
Everything is serious.
everything
now.
has to be serious. Like Gremlins, Goonies, Innerspace, like all these kind of
Yeah, the comedies were the highest grossing genre of the 80s, whereas now it's like serious and action movies that are the highest grossing.
Yeah, I think that needs to change because like there's only so many Transformers that one wants to see. Superman.
Well, the new one's supposed to have Dinobots in it, so
I don't know. Like it's just kind of like different because there's still like Transformers has comedy in it. It's just not
right. It's still a B movie, but just even more money in it.
same with like Avengers and like all the superheroes. There's always some comedic angle.
Yep.
But
Just kind of interesting. Like the B movie, like started off in the 50s, and then Hollywood just started adapting the kind of genre. Like apparently, because I've been reading a lot about Roger Corman, and so his movies were like Attack of the Sea Monster, or whatever, from space or something like that, and then
Jaws
basically after Jaws came along, Hollywood was doing those movies, but doing them much better, and then it just kind of took off. Even Star Wars was kind of like a B movie idea in a way. Okay, so when we return, we'll do our box office review.
smash hits.
Cool. Be right back. All right, welcome back to the Small Screens Podcast. Hope you enjoyed our discussion of Fantastic Voyage and Innerspace. Before we go, we thought we'd just take a minute and run through. We usually do at this point in the show, like what's coming out in theaters this week, but this time there's not a lot going on, and it's a new year, so we thought we'd talk about some of the most anticipated movies of the new year. Luke, you got a list in front of you, I understand.
Yeah, let's run the numbers here. We got The Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This is the sequel to The Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Cool. Yeah, the old James Franco one.
Yeah, Did you guys see that one? Did you ever check it out?
I did. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm excited. I grew up with Planet of the Apes. Love it. Like they're taking it seriously. I'm excited to see Gary Oldman in this new one.
Yeah.
So I'm on board.
Yeah, the idea of Gary Oldman in a 3D movie kind of makes me happy. Gary Oldman's 3D face shouting at me to catch some bad guy or something. We got the Hunger Games. Whatever the fuck a mockingjay is. I guess that's a mockingbird and a blue jay mixed together.
Some cross genetics going on.
It's called Mockingjay Part 1. It sounds like Kanye West's album or something.
So there's going to be like a part, it's extending the last book into 2 movies kind of syndrome, eh?
Man, I'm not down with this. I don't know what it's all about. Jennifer Lawrence is born in 1990.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm too old. Too old for this Hunger Games shit.
I'm not.
Yeah.
No, did you watch?
No, I haven't seen any of the Hunger Games. No.
Neither of them. Maybe.
But I like Jennifer Lawrence. She was good in American Hustle. Saw that movie a week ago. She's good.
We've got The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Cool. A lot of people like to hate these new Spider-Man pictures, but I think Andrew Garfield, real charmer, real nice, awkward, soft-spoken feller there.
Yeah.
You got, what's her name? Is Emma Watson. This blonde chick. Doing a bunch of stuff. People love her. Easy on the eyes. Easy A. You got Jamie Foxx, double X for Fox, playing Electro. You got Paul Giamatti as Rhino. A lot of baddies in this one. I always like when they jam pack these pictures with baddies.
Yeah, I hope they make a Spider-Man movie that's like the Sinister Six.
Apparently they're building up to that. That's
Yeah.
going to be like the whole introduce all these villains and then they'll get together.
Oh
and
yeah,
it's sinister.
I love that. The classic.
It's like kind of an anti-Avengers in that way.
What is it? You got Doc Ock, Vulture, Rhino,
the lizard guy?
Mysterio, or what is his name? Doctor Strange, or
I think Mysterio. They're like he's got a glass bowl, like a fishbowl head.
Goldfish bowl for a head with smoke in it.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
Mysterio, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And
is that it? And
Electro
Green
and
Goblin.
Shocker get alternated, right?
Oh, the same guy. I like how they kind of seem with these new movies, all like in the comics, it seems like all these villains had separate origins, but it seems like in these new movies they're all tied back to Oscorp in some way, which I like, kind of unifying it.
Yeah, it's like there's just this one company to point.
One source.
Interesting.
See, we also another superhero movie coming out, X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Cool. Yeah, so Fox is holding on to their one Marvel property pretty tight. They're pumping them out every year.
Oh, is that how it is? Like, that's not.
Well,
it is Marvel, but Fox.
Yeah, this is how it works. Apparently, I was reading about it. So Fox has the license for the X-Men characters.
Okay.
And Spider-Man. And if they go more than 2 years without making a movie for either of those, the rights revert back to Marvel. So they have to almost, just to hold on to the characters, keep making X-Men and Spider-Man movies just to hold on to the license.
So these are like kind of like contract movies.
And Marvel wants them badly now that their universe is taking off. Those characters that everyone knows by name to enter into the Avengers universe.
Yeah, so they can have Avengers versus...
Spider-Man can be in the Avengers.
Yeah.
They can have Wolverine popping up. They would love that.
They just finished a line of comics that was Avengers versus X-Men, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so
that was
like
huge.
They could make
that movie. That would be huge.
And be sick, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, I like Avengers I like X-Men as a separate universe. It kind of makes more sense. The mutants being discriminated against makes more sense without other superheroes muddying it.
I like that story arc a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But I find the Avengers, the movies, are just better. They're
just
bigger
fun.
budget and they're more fun. So, the Lego movie.
Now
So-
that
These guys were on the edge of their seats watching the Lego
I
Movie
don't know.
trailer.
It's
kind
good.
of it looks fun because it's so stupid, right? Like it's fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so.
It helps that they have seems like a lot of creative properties, like Ninja Turtles, Abe Lincoln, NBA.
Abe Lincoln. Batman, yeah. It's got Will Arnett, Will Ferrell, and a whole bunch of other voices.
Mia Farrow, Will Ferrell.
Chris Pratt, Elizabeth Banks,
Boom, boom,
Morgan
boom.
Freeman.
Yeah, it's got everyone in it.
Should be pretty good. Godzilla. We went over Godzilla before, didn't we?
Looking
Looks
trailer,
cool, yeah.
Man, I love Godzilla movies.
Whew.
Every time a Godzilla movie comes out, I get I turn into a kid.
Green and mean.
Captain America, the Winter Soldier. This looks like
You guys got your defenses up around this one.
I don't know. I
You don't want into it.
because it's like Captain America is kind of like
Do you not like the first Captain America? I thought it was one of the better ones.
yeah.
Takes place in the 40s, a lot of it.
But the thing is, after Avengers, it's kind of hard to follow that. Go back to the individual stories, because I'm used to I
Iron
know
Man
who
flying
this
around.
guy is. I don't really care what he's doing in his own time. Want to see him
With the whole
punching-
team, right?
Yeah, with the whole team causing.
But
tag
you don't
team
think
shit.
Hulk's gonna make a little appearance?
Yeah, it's got my girlfriend in it. What's her face?
Black Widow.
Black Widow.
You don't know your girlfriend's name?
Fuck, what's her name? That actress.
Oh, Joe.
Scarjo. That's right.
What about Captain Planet? That would have been a better captain.
They made those movies on Funny or Die. They remade Captain Planet. 22 Jump Street. This is the sequel
It's
to.
cool. I was pleasantly surprised by the first one.
I had never saw it.
This one's called 22 Jump Street.
Right, they have to move across the street.
In the trailer, what I saw is they're doing some.
They're going to college
going to
this time.
college to do drug
Fuck
busts.
high school.
Yeah. And everyone's talking about how
So-
old they look, and it makes me feel old.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it looks like a great year for cinema.
Well, you love comedy, right, Sam?
I do enjoy comedy, yes. But I hate superhero films.
Right.
I hate them.
Would you say 2014 is a year of the comedy's return?
There's a lot of sequels in here, but there's also a lot
Yeah,
of,
sure.
there's a lot of sequels in this. There's a year of sequels so far. Right. I guess that's it. Yeah.
Cool. So those are the films we're going to be looking forward to for the new year. Hopefully we can watch them with you.
Yeah.
So let's sign off for this week. Thanks for listening. I'm Russell Hawley.
I'm Lucas Eves.
I'm Sam Catalfmo, and I hope you guys had as much fun as we did.
All right. We love you all. See you soon.